Good morning, everybody. Want to unmute us, Michelle?
For what?
We'll talk. Hey, good morning, everyone. I'll bring the meeting to order. Hope everyone had a good time last night. I believe everyone did. We've got a pretty robust agenda, so with that, we'll marks by the cadet. I think you want to start off. Maybe Rebecca, do you have anything before?
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Maximus Onkra. I'm the first class president for the academic year 25-26, and I have the great honor of being in my class of 2026. I just want to update you on the government, how the Corps is, and just briefly going over the Richmond trip as we still haven't briefed to our superintendent. So for that government general committee, the 10 of us, the 10 people who run the general committee for our respective classes for the first, seconds, and the thirds, had 7 successful GC trials, adjudicating any punishments that we deem fit, encouraging more peer-to-peer elections as that's the hardest leadership is that sure any of us will face. With OGA, ensuring that we have smooth investigations, going against anything that going against VMI's morals in terms of the code of cadet. So that's been going well. For CEA, getting a pulse on the Corps, getting counselings in, ensuring that we're informed on BIT, alcoholic stuff, and making sure that we're just safe overall. We just had a BIT training yesterday, just ensuring that, hey, just make sure you're respectful, don't say anything demeaning, and ensure that you are embodying what a VMI cadet is supposed to be: respectful, have pride for yourself, and have dignity for yourself and other people. In terms of the Corps, I can speak for my class that we're doing well, just had breakout successful. 420 rats broke out. It's a very cold day, but 26 brought the heat, so it's fun. With breakout, the rats, they're feeling good about themselves. We're going to start electing our GC officials up in April, so they still have a little time to show their true colors outside of the rat line. We're looking forward to that. In terms of Richmond, it was an interesting experience to say that getting to go out there and see the politics. There's definitely no honor code in politics for sure, but 12 of us, 12 cadets, including the battalion COs, including the RCO, UC president, first class president, third class president. We all went to talk to certain delegates, just giving our point of view on what VMI is, a school of character, integrity, and anything that is superficial in terms of race and sex and religion is all stripped away at the rat line, and we just continue to build off one's character. When we met with the Black Caucus and just gave our point of view, I cannot say it was necessarily a successful operation. In fact, that turn away the bills or anything like that, but it was more so just in making their armor, which is a bug in their ear that next time that they do make next steps onto their bill, that they at least see the faces of 12 cadets out here privately to love our school and just talk about how much we want the school to still stand and how much we want to do to pass those bills. So nonetheless, it was an interesting experience, and we got to go out there and that's do what my brother asked.
Thank you, Maximus. Thank you. Devin.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Devin Ozam. I'm the regimental commander for this academic year. Can kind of touch on some of the things Max said. Whenever it comes to breakout, in my 3 years here, at least, I was very impressed with the Corps' input into breakout because first class runs the rat line and the rat mass joins the Corps cadets. So the Corps should be very involved. We had great participation from the second and third classes, both in the morning and throughout the entire day, especially on the parade deck charge. That was definitely something to see. In Richmond, again, I think, and this is my biased opinion, but we took 11 of the sharpest cadets in the Corps. from cadet leadership, second and third classmen, cadet government, regimental system, honor system, privates, all the way to myself. And we went up there, we did good work. We definitely put a good bug in their ear, showed them a different perspective, and showed them the true passion of VMI cadets and what product that we can put out there in the world. Going forward in this academic year, really try to keep those cadet leaders involved because, after the rat line, everyone wants to calm down, but we're still in command until May whenever we pass off the colors.
Hey,
Thank you.
ask you one question. Was there any Q's and A's in General Assembly, or were you just transferred?
No, sir. We were presenting before the General Assembly, testimony. So
The Black Hawks.
yes, sir. It was a Q&A format. It was just like this. We sat on one side of the table and about 15 of their members sat on the other side. They asked us questions, we asked them questions, and we debated back and forth on certain issues. So thank you, Devin.
Thank you.
Morning, everybody. My name is Grant Rose. I'm the Honor Corps president for this academic year. Just to update you all on the Honor Corps, as of this past semester, we've been working really hard on the education efforts. We feel that that's the most important aspect we've seen in the past couple of years. We want to have a more proactive court rather than a reactive court to certain issues on post and certain honor code issues among cadets. So the way we've been handling that is we started in the beginning of the year educating every class in the honor code, the importance of the system. For the first class where we emphasized the honor system and its importance after VMI, well, as it might be their last year, but they still have the honor code. That's the system that we run by at VMI. And we wanted to emphasize that as they go into the last year, not to make any of those simple mistakes for personal gain over their personal honor. For the third classmen, as the alumni in this building know, it's third class year. There's not much to look forward to, but we wanted to emphasize again the honor system and what they have looking forward the next year with ring figure, then ultimately graduation after that. With the rat mask, we want to emphasize, although they're in the rat line, there's still the honor code, and we wanted to educate them on what it means to be a man or woman of character, of an integrity in today's society. And for the second classmen, obviously they had their ring figure, so we wanted to emphasize the importance of all these key events may be happening, but there's still academics going alongside of those. And professors are going to give tests, they're going to give essays, assignments, whatever it may be. So don't let the ring figure and all those celebrations go supersede your honor. And right before the end of the semester, we made an initiative to talk to all the classes as soon as they got back. And we had that ability as well. And we wanted to emphasize for the rats, although the rat line's over, there's still the honor system. And that's what all cadets follow at VMI, regardless of who they are. And for the first classmen, we're in that final stretch for graduation. We wanted to again emphasize the importance of the honor system and the honor code long after their time in barracks. And for the second classmen, we wanted to emphasize they just got their rings, but here's what's next in your academic career. You have graduation, and again, abiding by that honor code is imperative. Regarding my experience in Richmond, I was grateful to see how the democratic process truly works. I was not expecting to walk into the legislative offices and see every other organization doing the same thing we were doing. Everybody's going to see different delegates. They're trying to get meetings. And it was a fascinating opportunity. And I never thought I would be in that position where I could see truly behind the curtain and see how the democratic process works. Thank you, guys.
Mr. Resnick.
All right. Thank you, Colonel Hammond. For visitors. Of course, I got a couple slides, just get them up. Again, for the new members and other members haven't been here before, it's kind of our structure that we have at the VMI alumni agencies. Have 4 key players, a CEO, 3 COOs, human resources, finance, advancement, and communications. See what we do for VMI. And we all work together. We all work for one. And this group works with across in Smith Hall. We go to any of the other buildings on this post, and we are one. A quick little snapshot of where we are fundraising. Again, 2026, the far right column. You can see we're up in donors over the past 5 years on here, year to date. We're up in dollars with the exception of 2022. 2022 was actually the third best fundraising year in VMI's history. So again, a very, very, very good start for us. We know, these numbers are up. You may have heard of it in advancement. And I do know possibly another $5 million gift coming in. So you can see those jump pretty dramatically, hopefully in the next quarter. We're looking at, again, on the fundraising side, we're looking at basically 4 initiatives that we've just picked out. Number 1 right now is Call to Duty. No order, but one on this list is Call to Duty. Again, a very, very important program for VMI and getting those folks with ROTC scholarships, 3 and 4 year here at the VMI. We raised $6.2 million. Some of that is annual, and some of it is endowment. But again, we're working very hard to get those numbers up. Over half that money, I believe, is from non-alums. So again, we're going to keep pushing those dollars in that priority. The other 3, we had the opportunity to sell some naming spots in the new advancement center. We're going to take those dollars, put it towards the parking deck. With CLE phase 2 is available, there'll have to be hopefully no debt borrowed for that project, and that therefore again saving the cadets some dollars and no additional fees. We're well on our way. I think we're going to meet our goal for that. Kita clubs had a heavy lift this year with the opting in and the budget little crisis that they had to start this budget year. Again, doing a great job, looking to actually try to raise almost $1 more million this year to get those needs. Also working hard on the soccer lacrosse stadium, $21 million project. Got some good leads on that. And then we continue to work with the P endowment called Academic Excellence, which has a chair component, a fellowship component, and a scholarship component, merit scholarship component. Anyway, had some good uplift on that this year. Just got finished with VMI Investment Holdings LLC. It was our annual meeting. And here to say we have not changed any of our policy weightings. But you can see we're almost $83 million strong. And that includes the 3 organizations, the Foundation, the Kita Club, the Alumni Agencies Board, Board of Visitors Funds, and we do invest some money for George C. Marshall. Again, if you go to the bottom line, the total return, you can see the one year, fiscal year to date, 3 year, all those numbers are pretty much in line with our benchmark. In all honesty, to be above the benchmark, doing very well. You got to remember, we have fees on ours and benchmarks have no fees. So you should always be behind the problem just a little bit. Next slide. I'm really proud of this slide. Again, this is the last 24 years. These are the top 6 buckets that we've given money to VMI. It's right just shy. We pick up to make it 25 years to be north of $500 million. And in the largest bucket being we've sent $120 million in unrestricted money to Smith Hall to be used as they saw fit. And you can see the other ones, scholarships being 105 and then athletics being 114. General Finesse has been very gracious with his time with us. We focused on the first 100 days of getting him out in front of as many people as we can, do as many of these one-on-one visits as we could do. You can see We had about in front of over 450 people. We had 50 or plus one-on-one visits. And we have a lot of things now scheduled here recently in the last week to get him out even more. We're planning a trip going west in March to see a big group of alumni out there and some donors out there. And then we're heading up to Seattle and then we'll get him back here. So he'll have some flying miles by the time we finish this process. Alumni Association, next line. Again, very proud with what we're doing right here. Again, 163 events, and you can see the monthly turnouts, what we do. You can see the magazine, the YI, VMIs, the Core Connects. We'll have a little flavor of that a little bit later. So we did finish an alumni survey. You can see some of those results here in the next few months. Again, things for the agencies, I think, are going the right direction. I think we're getting our message out between VMI, communications, and Amy and her team. Again, it's a joint venture, and we try and spread all the good news we can. Okay, very important dates, things we're doing for the next few months. I've highlighted the one of, again, February 19th, legislative reception in Richmond. I look forward to seeing everybody there. We have a couple board meetings left, a scholarship banquet, a town hall, and then one for this group, March 24th through 26th, Compete to Win. I look forward to seeing everybody's name on that. Again, we're gonna do some fundraising here. Again, those dollars go to help our intercollegiate athletic program. In April, you can see, again, we start our reunions, board meetings, scholarship banquet. Now this, I'm gonna pass over to Amy to help me because I call it a Splenda and it's called a Spadilla or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, come on, help me.
Thank you, David. It's been our pleasure over the last 3 years to support the Institute and the Institute mission and the Corps of Cadets. Our primary audience are the alumni, and our secondary audience are cadets and prospective family members. This particular ad event happened last Tuesday, which is a very good timing. It's an ad that actually wraps around the outside of the entire Richmond Times paper. It goes to 20,000 subscribers. Oh, Mr. Gottwald is holding it up.
I'll pass it around. It's really well done.
But it just tries to communicate the value of VMI. That black bar is what it means to be at VMI and to push yourself academically, physically, beyond what your self-perceived limits may be. Of course, we wanted to focus on cadet leadership and how the Corps runs the Corps. We have our key points of pride here that are very, very important. And then the ad on the far right, where it's no ordinary college, no ordinary leadership, no ordinary character, that mirrors what we're putting out on traditional ads like billboards and airports across the Commonwealth.
Are you scheduled for any other periodicals for that? Washington Post?
An ad, a full page ad in the Washington Post costs about $45,000. So we did that once to honor General P and his contribution. And don't quote me on that price. It's around there. It's a lot. But we also have these pieces that are going in the corridor, the I-6 Highway 66 corridor. These are in metro trains, and we had over 1 million impressions. It's one of the most, we've clocked the highest response of someone looking at a printed ad and then doing something about it. They were clicking on that QR code that took them to some marketing pieces, some great communications messages, but these were in 265 cars on their way down the Beltway. And we did that because it lines up with high schools that have high priority candidates and their families. Again, this is a look at traditional promotions such as billboard and airport advertising. In addition to this, I just want to be clear, we have a very strong digital presence as well with ads and going out to key places to include the legislature. We're geofencing that so we can tell that area, so we can tell the good news story there as well. I have one more thing to let you know that's not reflected in these ads, is the Alumni Association has directed us to look into, develop, and launch a VMI community. This is for alumni to gather in either affinity groups. It's an online community, if you think about Facebook, for VMI. So former football players can gather there. And we hope that they'll be able to share and build engagement. If you were traveling to Chicago and you want to look up who might be in Chicago to gather with you, you'll be able to do that there.
All right, Max, we're gonna put you on the spot here. You got a little video so this is our Core Connects. We do 2 of these a month. Why VMI?
My family's from Ghana, and I got to visit Ghana a couple summers ago and stayed with my grandma in Accra, which is like the capital of Ghana. I still remember vividly, there was these kids right across the street from my grandma's house, and they practically had nothing compared to me. And these were the happiest kids I've ever seen. Little to no clothing, no kitchen. They stayed in one room. It was a single mother of like 7 kids. And again, they were the happiest kids I've ever seen. So coming back, I felt like this dissonance because I felt bad that I was being ungrateful for what I had. So coming to VMI, that's something I kind of promised myself, that any opportunities that came my way, I was going to take it and I was going to do the very best at it. I'm class president. I remember getting elected, and it was a pretty amazing feeling. It's something you can't really describe, but just having so much love and so much support from your brother rats that they trust you to lead them, it's amazing. The weight I feel being class president, at times it could be a lot, because again, you are a leader for your class. You're a liaison between the Commandant staff and your brother rats. So sometimes it is a lot of pressure. You do get a lot of conversations, you do get a lot of notifications, and of course you're still balancing academics and you're still balancing the other leadership stuff as well. At times it can get a lot, but truly it's an honor, and I wouldn't want to give it up for anything else. So the goals for first class year, biggest thing is to just make sure we're having a good route line. VMI is a great school, right? But we need to make sure that we're instilling conduct within the Corps of Cadets so we can genuinely have that VMI spirit. We can genuinely say that I am proud to go to VMI. I like to think of myself as a hard worker, and that I do want to uplift others, and I do want to have a change, not just at VMI, but whoever I come across. And that's why I'm doing the military. That's why I'm trying to go medical or intel. It's because I do want to uplift others. I do want to heal others, and I do want to motivate others that they're way more capable than what they think they are. So if I have the opportunity to do that, I'm gonna do so. I would say what motivates me to inspire others is that I've been inspired all my life. Again, my parents are the biggest thing, and my other family members, my teachers from high school, and all this stuff. Coming here, I remember one of my cadre members personally told me, he said that when you come here at VMI, there's a clean slate, and that you should always justify the space you occupy, whatever you're doing. So I took that and ran with it to always justify the space that I'm in, and not just proving why I belong in whatever position I'm at, but also helping others reach that level as well. Because I feel like it would almost be selfish if I just kept all this experience, all this knowledge, all this motivation to myself. The suffering and the perseverance that you go through at VMI builds you up as a person as a whole that you can't really get anywhere else. This place has blessed me with so much, not just with my friends, not just with leadership opportunities, of course, but just being able to say that I go to VMI, like having that pride that many alumni have come through and they're successful in whatever field they're in, whether it's the civilian sector or the military. They're doing well, and I want to be part of that group. I want to be able to say that I took the hard route and I did it to the best of my ability. I got to talk to masses of people at one time, have daily interactions with people I look up to. I also have an amazing education. I get to have that every day. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. VMI is home.
We do 2 of those a month. We've done
My family's
all the leaders.
Just end the board meeting now.
Okay, questions, we got, a couple of announcements. Number one, Ed Johnson, who was the CEO of the VMI Alumni Association, retired in December. After a long career in the Navy, decided to come here and work. He was the right man at the right time for us. And he's decided to retire. Replaced him with Brandon Bissell in December of this year. Brandon's class of 98, football player, aviator. Anyway, we looking forward to working with Brandon. He did work for the Alumni Association. He went over and did some major gift fundraising. So now he knows all the pieces of the puzzle. So looking forward to him serving a very, very long track. VMI. The second one, most of you already know, I'll be retiring in April. And I'll be moving forward. I got a couple facts for you here. I'd like to read to you, but first off, forgot one. One great VMI alumnus told me that the reason why we go out and raise money was to make VMI from a good school to an excellent school. We're the icing on the cake. We're the ones that would go out and buy the extra piece of chemistry equipment. We're the ones that gave the extra scholarships. We're the ones that are able to give extra money to get the best faculty, staff available to VMI. We also have the opportunity when we change superintendents, which I'm now on my 6th superintendent. So General Finesse and General Finesse comes to us and said, I need to make a bang. And anyway, so the foundation granted him $650,000 to upgrade the wiring in barracks. I understand that is done, and they're actually moving out to other places on post. So that's that icing on the cake. Give him a win. Here's some fun facts. So I started here and on this side in FY86. In-state tuition was $6,200. Out-of-state was $9,500. Today it's $33,000 and $64,000. My first meeting on the VMI Investment Holdings LLC was in September of 1986. Our endowment was at $49 million. Yesterday, Chris, I know it's not official, but I looked it up. We were at $995 million as of yesterday. So again, pretty good growth. The operating budget for VMI was $14.5 million. Today it's $21.8. In FY25, we raised $1.6 million in annual giving, and today we're raising always consistently north of $5.1 million. Notable changes while I was here. End of Saturday classes, some of you still may remember those. Mandatory commissioning went away, and then we went co-ed. So again, a lot of things happened during my tenure. I just want to thank again the great relationships I had with VMI, great relationships I had with my staff. It's been just a great tenure. It's been a great run. I've enjoyed every minute of it. So thank you.
You can't get off the stage just yet. The last little bit, you kind of stole my thunder. So if you think about David here, we all know a handful of people that have served the Institute for their entire working life. If you think about, you joined us in '86, happened to be a very good year. I think I was a first classman when David joined us. But if you think of the telephone calls, the emails, the meetings, the travel, the engagements, 40 years worth of that, what a huge impact you've had, what a huge positive impact you've had, and to devote your entire working life to the Institute. Yeah, thank you. So, gonna miss you. We hope you have are you gonna move to Texas or spend some time down in Texas?
Oh, yeah, sometimes we'll be a lot more time in Texas. Again, all my family's down there, but I have both my children down in DC. So it's gonna be, they've asked me to stay put for a little while. My son just got back from Germany after almost 5.5 years, so stick around for a little bit. Goes to Georgetown, get his in.
Got a solution for you. Would you please?
Attention to orders. Board of Visitors, Virginia Military Institute Resolution. Whereas David L. Presnicki started working in the VMI Comptroller's office in June 1985 before being recruited to work at the VMI Foundation in early 1986. And in the past 40 years, he has assumed positions of increasing responsibility. And in 1992, he became the VMI Foundation's Chief Financial Officer and later Vice President and Chief Financial Officer. And Mr. Presnicki became the interim Chief Executive Officer of the VMI Alumni Agencies in the fall 2021. He was named to the permanent role in January 2022. And whereas in these positions, he artfully led a team of dedicated professionals of the VMI Foundation, VMI Cadet Club, VMI Alumni Association, VMI Alumni Agencies, and the former VMI Development Board with a dual focus on supporting the VMI mission and the VMI alumni family. And whereas he took a leading role in the transformation of the management of the endowments that support the Institute, the VMI Alumni Agencies, and the George C. Marshall Foundation through the establishment of VMI Investment Holdings, LLC, and fostered a significant change in the investment strategy, changes that have led to an endowment valued at more than $875 million, and thus an increased confidence in the Institute's financial long-term stability. And whereas Mr. Presnicki made significant contributions to the work of 4 major fundraising campaigns, which raised the private financial support necessary to achieve the Institute's strategic goals. And whereas he applied his significant experience to the important work of reorganizing the VMI alumni agencies, an effort which streamlined their structures and operations, so made their work on VMI's behalf more effective and efficient. And whereas Mr. Presnicki earned the trust and loyalty of alumni, parents, faculty, staff, and friends on and off post by ensuring the adoption of best practices, timely and transparent reporting, and clear operating guidelines. And whereas he has consistently demonstrated sound judgment, steadfast integrity, energetic leadership, and superb professionalism, earning the respect and admiration of all who have worked with him. And whereas Mr. Presnicki has never left his post, resolutely devoting his entire professional career to the work of the VMI alumni agencies and the Institute, so enhancing the Institute's ability to execute its mission of providing well-educated, purposeful, and above all, honorable citizen soldiers to our great country, including his own son, Tyler L. Presnicki, class of 15. Therefore, this board expresses its warmest thanks and deepest appreciation to David L. Presnicki for his long and faithful service to the VMI alumni agencies, wishes him a long, healthy, and happy retirement. And be it further resolved that this board directs Lieutenant General Furness, Superintendent, present Mr. Presnicki with the VMI Meritorious Service Medal in recognition of his sterling service to 6 superintendents and his innumerable contributions to the advancement of the Virginia Military Institute and the welfare of the Corps Cadets. Signed, James P. Inman, Colonel, U.S. Army retired, President, VMI Board of Visitors.
Amy there.
Dave is one of these people I talk about that is always cheerful, and cheerfulness is a British Royal Marine leadership trait. It has, they define it as having the gleam in your eye and the spring in your step, kind of like at the most dire circumstances, uplifting others, having enthusiasm. And that's what I felt in our relationship from the first day. You have had that's a long-winded way to say you have had a profound and lasting impact to generations of VMI cadets now, in the past, now, and in the future. And I thank you for it.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, this been quite a like most of you, we've all had opportunities to go other places and do other things. And I decided to stay here and raise a family and work for this great institution. And as you heard, I had youngest graduate from VMI, Tyler. My daughter, and he played lacrosse. My daughter went to Longwood, played lacrosse, went on to get her MBA at Madison, now works at Walter Reed. My son's still a major. And my first son, Tyler, went to West Point. So you had a very big impact on my family. They all dealt with the military. And I can tell you that dreadful morning after I lost my son, my first call came from a VMI guy. My first visit was from a member of the Board of Visitors. Came into my house. And what that means to me is, and to everybody around this table, this is a family. And some of us choose to stay here for a while and work. And to me, it's still one of the best assets we have are some of our long-term employees. But it's been fun. The journey's been great. I've enjoyed every second of it. I wouldn't do anything different. And I think VMI in the long run, we bend, but we don't break. And we got to keep up the fight. Thank you all very much.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of consent calendar. Does anyone, excuse me, have anything to say about this before I make a motion that we approve it? I entertain a motion that we approve the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yesterday, the superintendent gave us a good update on the interim strategic plan, and he discussed a little bit there some thoughts as it relates to the mission statement. I'm going to ask the board to approve the mission statement, but it's not the one that's in progress. It's the long-term mission statement that we've had for many, many years. Need to update a record of the board's approval for SAC COC accreditation. Any questions on that? I entertain a motion that we approve the current mission of VMI.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you very kindly. And we'll begin our committee report. Nancy, academic affairs, please.
So we had a great meeting, a full meeting, and I'm going to have Bill post the full minutes of our meeting and on board so that y'all can just do a deep dive if you want to. I'll hit a few of the highlights. For the admission standards, we discussed problems associated with matriculating cadets still not being adequately prepared for college level academics in their K-12, which places a huge burden on our first year college education. Currently, RATs are receiving about a day and a half of study skills orientation for classes again each fall. Discussed increasing the length of this orientation and the challenges associated with doing so. So there was some good discussion on that. The quality enhancement plan, we all know that SACS is currently going through the accreditation. So there's a moratorium on submitting a QEP as part of this, but VMI elected to develop it in the area of experiential learning because they were already initiating programs in the area that would enable them to fully formalize and to attach resources in order to execute it. So SACS is going to review this to help strengthen and improve the plan. There's no detriments, there's no negative to having them do that. A fall 2025 survey of cadets and faculty who participated in experiential learning, study abroad internships, undergraduate research, and ROTC summer training was sent out. And developing this experiential learning program supports the academic program learning outcomes, supports cadet career aspirations, and enables us to expand on existing experiential learning programs, which the faculties feel are beneficial and valuable. So the goal is to get 100% of participation, but everybody knows how busy our cadets are and scheduling and resources. It's a challenge, but that's a lofty and a good goal. Summer 2025 internship survey was completed, and I think they had some good numbers responding because SHEB helped fund cadets to actually go into the barracks and get results on this survey. So that was good. We've heard about the new major programs that the Department of Computer and Information Sciences and Human Performances and Wellness are both submitting. So they're working on these proposals. There's still a lot of steps that need to be taken. But HPW has proposed a degree in kinesiology, and CIS is proposed converting each of 3 tracks under their existing computer science degree program into separate major degree programs. Artificial Intelligence Task Force, the dean has established a task force to establish the policies and procedures governing the use of AI in education and training. Currently, it's decentralized with each academic department and guidelines. Standardized testing update. The Office of Institutional Effectiveness concluded its analysis of standardized testing, the SAT and the ACT, as predictors of academic success. And the results were that predicting first year VMI GPA, the high school GPA was significantly stronger than the SAT. Regarding first to second year retention, the high school GPA was a significant predictor, more so than the SAT. And then in predicting a 6-year graduation rate, high school GPA was still significantly higher. So again, lots of information. We'll post the full minutes for y'all to do a deep dive on. And if you have any questions or comments, or Dean, if you want to add anything to this report, free for all, everybody.
Any questions for Nancy or General Marissi? Thank you so much. Teddy, Athletics Week.
Thank you. We covered in the athletics committee meeting, many of the items that Jamal shared with the full board yesterday, only we covered in more detail. We dug into the budget. The budget is in good shape, in line with our expectations for the year. Increased private support on the 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 to make up the deficit gap. $91,000 savings on operational spending, salaries. I'll point out that we have given the athletics team and essentially an arbitrary limit for next year of $500,000 of deficit. We as a board still need to agree on what's a proper level of funding for VMI athletics. And I think part of that will come out of the comprehensive plan for VMI athletics. It'll follow the strategic plan update. But it's something that we need to spend some time and energy, probably executive committee, AF&P too. We spent a lot of time on the House settlement. And we're hopeful that Jamal's optimism on the NCAA giving us a waiver on roster limits will come through, that'll help ease us into the smaller rosters in case of some sports. And not impact current cadets quite as much. We talked about NIL. We have a NIL policy that needs approval, and Jamal will speak to that in just a minute. Jamal updated us on his Value Makes Impact plan, which again will be somewhat on hold while the strategic plan is being updated. We talked about whole program, the new head coach, which we all had the pleasure of listening to at lunch yesterday. We heard a solid academic report. We heard a much improved conduct report on the athletic cadets. There are around 20 cadets in the transfer portal right now. That includes a handful that are graduating and looking to complete their eligibility elsewhere. Still need a plan for success in football. We talked about that some and that thoughtful that. And very pleased with the hard work and dedication of a strong athletic staff. Jamal, you want to describe the NIL policy and why it needs approval from?
Sir. Yes, July 1st, 2024, state of Virginia passed a bill to allow public and private schools the ability to directly compensate their athletes. At that time, it was not permissible by the NCAA. So we have already had a NIL policy. This update to the current policy will allow us to compensate our athletes. Now that we have opted in, it's a requirement for board approval due to state Virginia code. So that is the reason that we wanted to make sure that we brought this to the board for approval. We reached out to the gentleman that authored the bill and got some guidance, and that was also a big part that we wanted to make sure we did the right way, to ask the right questions to make sure before we bring the policy, it was something that felt was needed and could help us move forward in terms of what we're trying to do.
And Jamal, our council has reviewed the policy and it's legally within standard.
Yeah, I've looked it over and I've also conferred with some other attorneys in the section. This one essentially mirrors UVA's policy. And I spoke with their counsel and everything from our perspective.
Do any board members that have reviewed the policy have any comments on it?
I would just offer this. I think there's so much we don't know about how the landscape will evolve. This is the first step we need, but I expect as we all come to understand what the environment looks like, there will be a need at some point to continue to revisit, tweak it to address the realities of NIL in the college landscape of the future.
There'll be continuous change. All you have to do is read. If you follow college athletics at all, you will see that there's lots of discussions about the way this may go. I think we're in a period now where people are exploring the maximalist extent of this, and I think there's people that are discussing bringing it more back to the center. But right now, we're still moving in the other direction. Right. They don't. But there is broad agreement that it's a wild west with very little oversight and direction from the NCAA, college sports, Scottish Sports Commission decision. So we'll just have to continually overwatch this, and we'll adapt as required to remain within the left and right limit of the current path that our peer institutions in the conference are going. Don't want to be the odd man out. It was one of the principal reasons that after the Citadel opted in, and you know, General Walters and I are good friends, and he gave me a call. He said, "Hey, we're doing it." Okay, so we'll just keep it. There will be an ongoing discussion on the board for some time to come up.
I think the thing that was most reassuring to me was the fact that by necessity, every year, we're going to have to make a decision to communicate. I think, is it May 1st?
March 1st.
On March 1st of every year, we're going to have to communicate to the NCAA whether we're still opting in or whether we're opting out. So on a year by year basis, we have to make a decision, a deliberate decision, and communicate that, which will force us by necessity to revisit this policy.
Yeah, we're constantly updating. I mean, I think that when Jamal and I briefed, you know, the board president, Mr. Godwall, about this before we, you know, made our final decision, you know, the principle for us to do this is for to improve roster retention. And, you know, to try to keep the players that we work hard to recruit, work hard to develop, and who have, get the right ones. I think you heard the coach talk about that yesterday. Then we create a culture here that they want to stay and play with their brothers, and this can help that. We're not, I mean, you read a lot about, you know, this person's getting millions of dollars. That's not really, or they got millions to come to play at a particular institution. That's not what we're doing. We are using it to basically manage roster retention. With Jamal and the coaches, we'll do that. We also have, he and I are looking at, you know, we have to look at this through a lens of Title IX and ensure that our female athletes get a portion of those NIL dollars and deals as well. And that's not in the law yet, but it will be. We're just saying, we know it's going to come, don't know when it's coming. We're just going to get ahead of that. So when it comes, we're like, good, we're already doing it. And we just have to continually be observant.
Just a reminder that this is not opt-in policy. This is just a board VMI policy to make us legal with Virginia law. Right. And opt-out will continue to be separate from this. This allows private funds to flow to VMI, who will write the check and negotiate cadet athletes. It doesn't prevent cadet athletes from negotiating. So I would like to, the athletics committee recommends approval of the NIL policy as found in our read-ahead materials for the athletics committee.
I entertain a motion that the board approve the NIL policy. So moved. Second. Favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
That's it, unless other committee members have anything to add.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Thank you very much, Terry. Terry, audit, finance, and planning, please.
Good morning. We had a very robust meeting yesterday. Just a couple things, and we've discussed this in the past. Dallas and his team have done a remarkable job. We've had a couple issues that put a small roadblock in the road there. As we've mentioned several times, we were estimating 500 matriculating cadets in there. We came in about 28 cadets short. Reminder that for every 20 cadets that don't matriculate, that's about $1 million in the budget. Yes, sir.
Us three would be full-time priorities.
Sure.
Thanks for your. You know what? Why'd you wait until I started?
Thank y'all.
Back to where we were. So we took a hit there. So we matriculated 472. Anybody who follows the news, inflation has not gone down. nobody has sent a bill to VMI that has been less than previous years. So things continue to go up. The board decided last year not to increase tuition and fees, which put us almost a little bit short of $1 million in the hole there. So it's been a tough year, but Dallas's team, like I said, we've spent a lot of time together. And he's gone over the budget in excruciating detail. And I think they're doing a remarkable job trying to balance everything out. But we still have some rough seas ahead coming up. In the approval that we had the consent calendar there, we approved the amendment to the FY26 budget. That amendment resulted in a net expenditure budget increase of 8.8 million, or 7.2 budget total budget increase. The increase consisted of an E&G budget increase of almost 3 million, state auxiliary enterprise budget increase of 5 million, and an athletic budget increase of 423,000, and a $500,000 in local fund restricted cash balances carried forward from FY25. So as you can see, it's not a challenging year. The other thing we discussed at length was the proposal for the FY27 budget. We will in the graduation class, we will we'll get this class out, which has been the smallest class we've had in years. It was short, about 92 cadets, so that we bring in 500 plus, which we're hoping for. We hope that that will give us a little extra dollars in the bank. Some of the things that we've discussed that if we project the total, like I said, total enrollment to get increase fall semester census date enrollment about 1 week after is estimated to be 1,581, an increase of 92 cadets or 6% compared to FY25. The average enrollment for year fall spring semester is projected to be 1,535 compared to what we've had in the past of 1,458. Tuition and fees, we talked a lot about that and where we didn't increase tuition fees last year. We had a discussion in the meeting yesterday. Terry McKnight's opinion that it is a very wishful thinking that we cannot increase tuition fees. And we come up in April. We're going to have a meeting in March to revisit and talk about what we need to do. But if you take the 750,000 we didn't do in this year, don't increase next year, but we're talking about adding on another almost $1.5 million of fees of funding that will not be there. So it's going to be a tough hurdle if we decide not to do that. Just briefly, and Dallas did a great job yesterday talking about state funding for education. Government program is projected to be 26 million next year. And we don't know what's going to happen in General Assembly. I think the next couple of weeks will be a trying for us. But Dallas's team are engaging well, and General and everybody up in the Richmond. We talked a lot about one of the biggest. I probably messed this up. We have the VMSEP program that is very important to VMI, and that is a big issue that it always comes up in the General Assembly and how to fund it. There was talk about using the 529 fund on that, but that went away. So we have to watch that closely because we're talking quite a bit of money for VMI if we don't get that funding. And as Dallas talked about yesterday, salaries were projected to increase 2%, and the enormous increase in healthcare benefits. So it's going to be a challenging year in FY27, but we got a lot of work ahead of us, and there's no doubt that Dallas and his team are ready to tackle big issues. We also had a brief from the maintenance staff, which is pretty remarkable what goes on here. The proposal is maybe next meeting, if we have time, is to go to some of the maintenance facilities. When I first got on the board, they took us down to the boiler room. What you call it, General?
I think it's a steam plant, but it's the cleanest place on post, if you can believe that.
So it's pretty remarkable what they've done. The team was out here from the minute there was projection of the snowfall, and it's been impactful. They had people working 24/7 to get this place cleaned up and keep VMI operations. So my hats off to the maintenance staff. They had 2 employees We talk a lot about, Dave just retiring. How many years you been here, Dave? 90? I mean, we just read 45 minutes of the, whatever, but we had 2 employees that just retired with a total service, the 2 of them together, of over 70 years of service at VMI, which is pretty remarkable, and what a great job. We also had a brief, from Colonel Gibson and his museum staff. The museum is just one of the great things about VMI. That's one of the hidden secrets. One of the proposals I had is next to board meeting that we have a reception down in the museum, so everybody can get down there and take a look at some of the artifacts they have down there. It's pretty remarkable. And Colonel Gibson always, you got his brochure that he set out there. So just summary, over 60,000 visitors to the Jackson House, the museum, and of course up to the Battle of New Orleans. So just it's a great part of the VMI heritage, and I'm very proud of what Colonel Gibson and everybody. So if there's not any questions or comments, the only thing I'd say is I know there's a lot of material on the budget. We will continually update you as much as we can, and I know that the general, and his SIP rep has promised me that he was there, how things are going. But I would just take a few minutes if you're, rather than there's no football games this Sunday afternoon and we might get snowed in or something, but just take a look at the budget details. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me or to Dallas, and we'll be glad to update you on where we are. Without any other questions or comments, that's all I have.
Terry. Any questions for Terry or for military affairs, please, Jim?
Yes. I think I've got probably the most enjoyable committee to run. It's all about cadet life and developing leaders and programs they have, and also the people that are on staff that support them, the commandant staff, infirmary, and others. We had very good meeting. The core leaders, Maximus, Devin, and Grant. We received briefings on how breakout went, resurrection during probably one of the coldest times that they could go through that. And everybody was feeling really good about that. It was very successful. There were minimal issues, no serious injuries at all. We talked about cadet government, and I won't be too redundant here, but the GC, Cadet Equity Association, OGA, and RDC, and those are all performing well and consistent with what we've seen in past years. They marched in the 75th gubernatorial parade, and it was covered by 4 news stations, and the Corps Div's proud. So that's always a significant event for us, and obviously also when we have the opportunity to do it for presidential parades. Some of the other spring activities that they were involved in, we've got this is coming up, winter formal. They have fun events like Closest to the Pin, where they're gonna expose people to golf. A lot of which that I wish I was here to see that. Bloodmobile, Red Cross comes in, and we've been doing this for as many decades as I can remember, but this Corps continues to do this. There's a 5K fundraiser coming up in March, Spring FTX, Nerf War, that should be interesting, and a few other similar type activities. The rugby club was first in the conference, 10-0, which is really impressive. And so that was good to see. And we didn't have this when I was here, but the hockey team is doing well, and there's quite a lot of commitment on that in terms of having to go down and practice down at Roanoke. Club pistol team, and there's a variety of other clubs and teams that are consistently performing. The infirmary, the last 12 months had 11,494 visits. So They're aware that they're there and they're utilizing it effectively. Medical clearances were done for class of 2030. And the infirmary is in full regulatory compliance. And that is an ongoing thing. And they actually have to, even though it's not, they have to comply with Board of Pharmacy regulations also, which I found interesting. Cadet counseling, we've seen some increase in utilization, and it wasn't associated with any problem, probably more than anything, an awareness of the services they offer, and they've experienced an increase in basically one-time utilization. One of the really cool and fun things that's going on is with the inclusive excellence training that Brianna conducts. And they focus a lot on behavioral, cultural, and other issues to train the cadets, put them through exercises in dealing with different behaviors that they encounter, exposure to different cultures. And it's not only helping them in terms of their life here as a cadet, but it's preparing them very well for after they graduate, how to engage as leaders in professionals in those areas. In terms of commissioning, we're on track to commission 175. Fiscal year 27, the expectation is will be 183. I had one-on-ones with each of the ROTC leaders, with Colonel Steele, who's the PAS for the U.S. Air Force and Space Force. And we have 15 contracted there. That's been an area of concern because we've seen less cadets being commissioned in the Air Force, but the good news is that the Air Force is starting to beef up on pilots by 20%. They also anticipate increasing Space Force commissions significantly. They had a spring FTX scheduled, and they're going to Langley Air Force Base, have a career day, and hopefully have a Thunderbirds veteran come in and speak, or current officer. Cadet Reese Lassiter received the USAA National Scholarship, which is a prestigious award. And they had visits to the Air and Space Association conference and had the opportunity to meet with the Chief of Staff of the U.S. Air Force and the Chief of Space Operations. So good, generally good news in the area of Air Force. Colonel Hanson from the Army, we got 114 contracted there. Oh, by the way, Air Force, right now we're ranked 15th in terms of number of commissions. So hopefully we'll see that coming up. And there's a challenge there that we run into, that it's a hard line on GPA and PT testing, that type of thing. To actually get qualified to get a commission, it's tougher than what we're seeing in the other services. And so it's an area, you know, I've talked to the commandant about it. They're on it. They're trying to figure out ways to help new cadets third class year to improve their performance so we can get more commissions, have more cadets successful. Colonel Hanson with the Army, 114 contracted. Ranger Challenge competition continues. They've got at Fort Pickett an event coming up in that area. Sandhurst event at West Point, and they have a dining in and a spring FTX planned here, and that's about it for the Army. Colonel Finn, USMC in the Navy, we've got 14 commissioning in the Navy and 27 in the Marine Corps. They had this fall a land nav and fire team attack exercises, training for the Marine cadets, Navy, Gettysburg, staff visit and, special operations screening. Talked to all three of the ROTC leaders, and they're doing everything they possibly can to optimize the opportunity for our cadets to be commissioned. And there's a few areas they need some funds. They'd like to get a Zodiac boat to help with some of the training for the Rangers and those that want to become SEALs. And it's really important because when they test for these types of things, if they haven't actually had hands-on experience with that kind of equipment, they're at a disadvantage. So we're going to pursue that. We're going to see where we can get it. I've already reached out to a couple of alums that worked with SEALs, and we'll see what we can get there. And then we need some cash for some dining in events and some other incidentals that each of these leaders need for their respective programs. As we talk through how they approach things, I think they're optimizing the best they can with the resources that they have, but we really need to do some things to help, and we're on that. Anybody from our committee that would like to make some comments or additions or any questions?
Right. FTX, is that funded for the spring? I know the fall there was a hiccup there.
Just elements of it were a hiccup, and the fall was also impacted by the government shutdown.
Right.
Down with the funding that
We may have another one coming.
Down again.
I can't predict those things, but
So we don't go until March, so I hope we will stabilize. To as far as the funding, your path, the same we were in the fall, albeit we are going to pay attention to what's going on at the federal level.
Thank you.
right on that Zodiac.
Yeah.
I will call some people I know in Quantico because they have some boats and they may be able to dermo you.
They used to have in Yorktown, they used to have a whatever it is.
Small boat unit. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean a warehouse full of excess government material. I don't know if there's Zodiac in there or not.
We have a raise and recon branch down there that does training, testing and stuff like that. So they may have some extra ones.
Well, when I was here, of course, that was 50 years ago, we had 4 M48 tanks. But I asked Colonel Hanson about that and he said, no tanks. But we'll work on some of the others. Anything else from folks that participated? Yeah, Don.
I apologize for not remembering your name, but I just want to say the presentation that she gave to the committee was powerful. After 4 years of the things you've done, it's something I will definitely take back to the people that I deal with back in Richmond. So very good job, well done. I was very impressed. Very.
Just so everybody knows, I mean, what Brianna does is truly is, we have this very aspirational and high standard code of cadet. And her team tries to make our cadets live up to that for everyone. It's a heavy lift coming from a society of which most of that is quite honestly not really valued. So she and her team are phenomenal. I think the cadets understand their intent and they embrace the training and they truly, but again, it's a culture where you're a click away from being famous and, sometimes, frontal lobe not being closed with some of our male cadets. It's a challenge, but she is fighting upstream every day against the current climate. Does a phenomenal job. So I think we're lucky to have her and her team. And, she's got my full support as well as her team's.
Thank you. Just one more comment. I really appreciate what you do. And what I've seen, some of the exercises you're putting people through. I mean, it's not unlike what I've seen during my career at Bristol Myers, Walgreens, major companies. It's really valuable. And I can tell you back in my day, after you graduated, I mean, it was learn it the hard way. And I think we're doing a real service to our cadets by preparing them for what they're going to encounter after they graduate. So I love it. I love what you're doing, and it looks like they're having fun doing it too. So thank you. That's all I have.
Very much, Tim. Need operations and personnel affairs, please.
Yep. So we used Thursday's committee meeting to take a deeper dive into operations and planning, and specifically to hear from Chief Marshal of the VMI Police and Colonel Kasner, the Director of Emergency Management. On the police side, the chief described the extensive experience and training of the force. And as a non-alum, I can say this is not your ordinary campus police. It's a professional, experienced police force that as often as not is actually going out and assisting community, regional, and state counterparts as the other way around. So really sort of the heavyweight of the area in terms of expertise and experience. You have a list of the types of training the force is undertaking and coordinating in your board book. And I think this really sort of exemplifies that the police are not complacent in what they know and what they need to be prepared for. We had a little, an understanding of some of the equipment upgrades that took place after lessons learned from Virginia Tech. The chief also encouraged the board members to come and visit the Emergency Operations Center, which I understand is very impressive and I need to do. So that's something I'm going to do the next time I'm on post. And then we also, just so everybody on the board is aware, the chaplain's dog is not the only working dog on post. And so we got a visit from the officer and canine team that does explosive detection. This is a tremendous asset that was given for free to the post, as well as all the training. It requires consistent and ongoing training to have the dog in the shape that it needs to be. And the way that this typically works is that, a single dog has some pretty high limitations for a large space or a large event, but what it does is enable VMI to play a part in a team of canine dogs throughout the region. And then that also gives us the ability to invite others in and to be able to use that asset for additional safety and security. On the emergency management side, Colonel Kasner described the comprehensive strategic planning post-wide that requires heavy community coordination. I should go back and just say, as to the police force, I should have also emphasized community. It's not just a really collaborative effort with fellow first responders in the area and regionally, but you should take a look at the one pager in your board book of the types of community outreach to members of the public that is ongoing by the VMI police. So it's a real face of the Institute that is interacting in a lot of very positive ways. On the emergency management side, there was a showcase of some of the new radios, equipment upgrade that's allowing better communication and actually executing plans as they may be needed to respond to an emergency situation. For purposes of the board, just be aware that we play a role in the crisis and emergency management plan, which is ongoing, kept by the director. We review it every 4 years, I believe. And that next time that we will see it will be later this spring. There's also a continuity of operation plan that the board has to approve. Again, it's a longer period. I want to say it's 4 or 5 years. That's next scheduled for us to engage on in 2027. Dr. Mobbs raised in the committee. That's kind of a long span in terms of the kinds of ongoing needs, changes that would need to happen. That is done. We're just not necessarily, we don't have the visibility directly into it. And the superintendent's doing annual reviews, certifying those plans. But as there are any any substantial changes, I think those would be, we'd at least be informed of that as a board. Also, the superintendent pointed out, well, we had more description of the physical upgrades that I think many people on the board are already aware of. And there's information in the board book about that. That's the road barrier system, which is about ready to go live. That's the access controls, the new doors throughout barracks, as well as this very heavy duty, substantial arch gates that are going to be that are already being implemented. Superintendent pointed out that all of those systems do require ongoing maintenance. So that is something that we may also be seeing on the budget side in terms of just needing to make sure that those are being constantly maintained as they need to be so that they're ready at the times we need them. And just as a personal note, it seemed to me that the overarching message and the one that I would want to hear as a board member was really that emergency management, police force are ever vigilant in staying ahead of what may come. And, even though we're not talking about it every meeting, are ensuring that, they are focused all day, every day on safety and security for the post, for everyone who works here, for everyone who visits, and building real relationships with the community as necessary and important to provide that protection. So with that, I'll turn it over to any of my fellow committee members, anything they might want to add. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Ernie, advancement?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. First, want to welcome to our committee new board members, Carl Dick, Mr. Hall, Mr. Johnson. The advancement committee is relatively new in our committee structure, so I want to remind everybody that it really performs a bit of a dual function. The first is the regular board oversight functions for our VMI communications and marketing. Then there's a coordination function. I stress it's coordination, not oversight, with our alumni agencies. And then there's some additional responsibilities with regard to the award of institute honors and officer nominations. The first order of business for us this meeting was to hear the report from Regimental S5, Mr. Flores. As you all know, with the inauguration of some of these events, there's been a lot of engagement as S5 staffs at the regimental and battalion level. The two things I want to highlight for everyone's attention, and that is the open house program, which we have had here for several years. Successful, typical numbers through the fall. There's September, October, November open house. The November open house was by far the best attended, and that's in the norm when you consider the run of what high school kids are going through in their fall semesters. We have 3 scheduled for the spring. The interesting thing is the fall events are mostly attended by seniors. It's about a 2/3, 1/3 split between seniors and non-seniors. We'll see that split reverse in the spring, where it'll be more 2/3 non-seniors, about 1/3 seniors. Second piece is something that we've talked about at this level for the last couple of years, and that is energizing a furlough recruiting program where cadets go back home, Thanksgiving furlough, winter furlough, go back to their high schools and engage with their former classmates, particularly in the lower grades, get them interested in the institute as a potential opportunity for them for their college education. And then that helps plant the seed for when they get into the actual inquiry and application process. We had this year for Thanksgiving and winter furlough a growth in the number of furlough recruiters who went back home. So expect to see that trend continue year on year. Most of the recruiters went back to Northern Virginia, so we would like to see a broader geographic spread. The recruiters are open to all classes, tends to be mostly brats, but thirds, seconds, and first can also participate. So that's something that look in the years downstream to see how that program is working, getting better return for young people engaging with high school potential recruits and then have them engage in the admissions process. On the communication side, I commend the materials in the board book. for a lot of detail. There is a lot of collaboration and work behind the scenes where communications and marketing is supporting different functions in the Institute. We heard that alluded to yesterday with strategic enrollment management. There are other aspects as well. The most tangible and I think visible piece that we will see later this year is a restructure of the vmi.edu website. The architecture, the IT of it needs to refresh, and that's what's going to happen. So we'll see hopefully better interaction, interoperability, fewer clicks for it's ongoing. Yeah, it's ongoing, but it'll be fully launched in the summer. And then as a communications campaign, the I Am VMI campaign, I'm sure everyone has seen these 3, 4, 5 minute vignettes that are multimedia in terms of how they hit social media, video, as well as prose. And they're features of generally current firstclassmen and their VMI experience, why they came, what they do, what the Institute means to them. And so I think those have been very successful in terms of engagement with the audience out in the digital realm and how they have clicked and paid attention to and absorbed these messages. From the agency's perspective, a lot of what we covered, David Price, I think you covered this morning, so I won't reiterate a lot of that other than to say, as he indicated, this year in terms of annual giving, we are tracking ahead of where we were last year, which is a good sign. The other thing I would point out is, again, in this coordination role, the agencies are looking for what are the Institute's priorities. They want to hear that, obviously, from Jennifer Ness and his staff. They want to hear it from the board as well. So in our morning session here, David talked about Call of Duty scholarships, the P endowment, naming opportunities with the new buildings going up, and then efforts that the KEDA clubs are taking on a variety of fields. As the strategic plan is tweaked and finalized, and obviously on the athletic side, as we get the athletic strategic plan, that'll be an opportunity for the community writ large to reevaluate those strategic opportunities so that we can give that wish list, if you will, to the agencies to better empower them to get the private philanthropy resources tailored to our objectives and our current needs more precisely. The last two pieces, very briefly, in your consent agenda, you'll see that there are several resolutions commending the service of various folks to the Institute. Obviously, we read one this morning for Mr. Presnicki. There's another for Colonel Wade Bell, retiring a member of the faculty from biology, who in addition to his teaching load had a great role to play in VMI research labs and some of the undergraduate research. And he retired at the end of the last calendar year. And then there are recognitions for the non-board of visitors members who were part of the superintendent search committee. And the last piece, we talked last meeting about the Daniels Humanitarian Award. No action for the board at this time, but we are continuing to pursue building a candidate pool of those who might be eligible for that award, and work to come on that, I hope, at the spring meeting. And for that, I'll raise it for any of the members of the committee for further points. And if not, turn it back to Mr. President.
Area bills, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's a very, very famous speech that General MacArthur and Megan probably memorized it in 1962, when he was about ready on his last legs. He stood before the board of cadets there, and he said, the core, the core, the core. When I come back and do my speech, I'm going to say the honor court, the honor court, the honor. Every single time that I get before the appeals committee, I just feel the energy of what these young men and women are doing for VMI, and it's pretty remarkable. We had our meeting down in the courtroom. We went over procedures, how it all works down there, and it's great. This year, I contributed to training that they've gone out there. They've only had 5 cases this year. They found they've had three drum outs. One was dismissed and one was found not guilty. That's pretty small numbers, compared to what has happened in the past. And like I contributed, it's to training what's going on. And Cruz General is doing a remarkable job. And I think if we have if you want to just feel the pride of what VMI has displayed, talk to those young men and women who work on the board. And good news is there's not much to report. So that's all I have here.
Very much, sir. Arnie, did you have something else?
I do have an alibi, and this is something that we need to do in open session. That is, we have an open position on the executive committee, one of the vice presidents. The management committee recommends the nomination of Mr. Williams to fill that role. And so I believe we have to have a vote on that session. That business now.
I entertain a motion that Mr. Williams join the executive committee.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, get ready to go into closed session. Time 9:31 a.m. I entertain a motion to discuss matters related to the employment, retirement, appointment, performance, evaluation of public institutions and higher education pursuant to the code section 2.2-3711. One, continue for the evaluation of the superintendent's performance and discussion disciplinary and other matters that would involve disclosure of information. Pursuant to the code section 2.2-3711 relating to discipline, sexual assault, and non-employment. Discussion or consideration by governing institutions of higher education. Requests and fundraising activities in grants and contracts for services. Section 2.2-3711. Relating to consulting for specific PR matters and messaging by the institute and related fundraising. Consultation with legal counsel regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of counsel. Being section 2.2-3711 alpha 7 pertaining to actual and probable litigation of the institute. Consultation with legal counsel regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel pursuant to VA code section 2.2-3711 alpha 8.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Session.
For the members who are online, please stay online. You will be put into a breakout.
Let's take 5 to 7 minutes and we'll be in here, everybody. Ask for a motion to enter open session.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Closed session is ended and the board is now in open session. It's now 10:16 p.m. During this closed meeting, the board discussed only public business matters law accepted requirements under the Virginia Freedom. And only those public business matters identified in the motion convening the session. Ask for a motion to certify the closed meeting.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I ask the secretary to call the roll to certify the closed session.
Colonel Dick.
Aye.
Mr. Edgar.
Aye.
Mr. Gottwald.
Aye.
Mr. Hall.
Here.
Delegate Janice.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson. Justra.
Aye.
Admiral McKnight. Dr. Mobs.
Aye.
Governor Northam.
Aye.
Mrs. Phillips.
Aye.
Mrs. Todd.
Aye.
Colonel Inman.
Aye.
Session is certified.
I wanted to take just a moment on behalf of the board to address our cadets, alumni, parents, friends, and supporters for all of your positive engagement on the Institute's behalf with elected and non-elected representatives. We're deeply grateful for this as we navigate through the current situation, so thank you. Subject to any other business, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank you.